Cowboy Jim, Northern Alberta, and um, this is the third video of the day. We have two more to go. I believe we do. Okay. This will not be as emotional as the last one, which happened to have torn me apart. But that happens. Um, when I remember where I come from and what it took to get me here, and I'm glad to be here. We collected, we Albertans gathered in Edmonton on the steps of the legislature on Saturday. That necessitated me, having to run my old Dodge south and having a lengthy discussion with my God, the God of the Bible, as to whether my truck would make it and make it back. That's one of the great joys of running a wonderful old Dodge Cummins that's nigh on to 25 years old at this point in time, and uh, uh, and also for having some seriously deep pockets. And okay, let's start off. Saturday morning, woke up early, um, uh, climbed into my big Dodge, beautiful, beautiful, black, wonderful. I I say ugly Dodge, but really it's beautiful. And uh, gathered with some people at a coffee shop that um, I I I can no longer um, shop at because of the interference of the Canadian federal government in their hiring practices. And at that particular chain of coffee shops, which happened to be uh, the chain that I favored, and the first time that I went to one of those coffee shops from that great Canadian hockey hero was in Sudbury in 1970. So I've been buying coffee there a long time, but the Canadian federal government made a deal with them, and it was this that keep me on the straight, Father. A deal that the federal government would pay half the wages of that particular chain of coffee shops had to pay their workers if and only if their workers were uh, recent immigrants to Canada. And the Canadian federal government told that coffee chain, I have it on very good authority from a guy who was on YouTube, and he said that his friend actually was the manager, and the manager said, "I have to lay you off toward winter because the Canadian federal government will not allow me to lay off those recent immigrants to Canada, who incidentally are not white, which doesn't mean squat because I'm not racist, but the Canadian federal government is racist." So, anyways, let's cheer this up a bit, and uh, and we headed south on Highway 63 and put the hammer down on the old Dodge. And God had told me truck's gonna run good. I said, I pray so. I told the guy that I was following, I said, if you notice that uh, my truck breaks down, don't you dare stop. You just keep going. This old cowboy's been. My oldest boy said, "Dad," he said, you don't realize it. That's God's miracle." He said, "But Dad, you've been alone all your life, even in a crowded room." Well, I've never been alone, really. Always the God of the Bible, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. They didn't leave me. I took a couple of wrong turns in the life that I've lived, which is now 76 years long. But God was always there to hear my apology and accept me into the fold. Do you know? He never once kicked me out of the fold. You see, my obedience has less to do with my acceptation by God than does God's love for me. Think on that for a second. His love also for you. With God, there's no race difference. God does not look at skin color. He looks at heart attitude, and his interest is the blood, not of the people, but the blood that Jesus the Christ shed on the cross for our sin. Okay, found and south. Old Dodge ran good. We we got to a little place called Wandering River, and and the guy I was following, he uh, next to Wandering River, we came to that same coffee shop at Gibbons, and we I bought coffee. I confess, okay, and and when I climbed back in the truck, the guy I was following walked over and he said, "I don't know what we're going to do." He said, "We're going into the city, and I I I I don't know how I can keep certain that you're following and that you didn't get off in one direction or the other due to traffic." I said, "Brother, you drive, I'll follow." And God, God, He'll keep me on the straight and narrow. Well, God did, and I I even knew where we ended up going. I knew it was only half a mile from where I shop at Costco, and we jumped on what, if you're from Calgary, um, you would be jumping on a C train. Yeah, I don't know what it's called in Edmonton, but a whole lot trickier getting on and getting off than in Calgary. But Calgary seems to go for what is called simplicity, and not every city does. So we made it to the Legislature Steps, and there were about seven of us walking together. And I told the one guy, I said, "Listen, I've been broke up too much, over the years, and I look down and I can scarce believe that I am so strong and athletic as I am, but it is only because of the God of the Bible." And I told the dude, nice guy, never knew him from up here in Fort Mac ever before, and I said, "Son, I have to stand here and let some of the, I don't know what it's called in my muscles, because I'm just all muscle except for maybe 3 pounds of fat around the middle. And I said I have to let my muscle catch up to my heart. And so I said, you keep going. We could already see the uh, parliament. I don't know if that's what it's called. The provincial buildings across the way. And I said, you go, son. Uh, I'll track you, okay, and I'll watch you. And so he did, and I rested. And there's something that people don't understand that I didn't understand. Your whole body can be rock hard, like you have no idea. But you have very limited strength, and I know that from when I was a kid in martial arts and hockey and judo and getting bucked off horses and getting back on. All those things. Back then, I was strong. Now I'm 76. Well, something happened in that process. So, anyways, I got. They went ahead, and I could hear the speakers starting, and I caught up to them, and not to them. I didn't see them again until it was all over. But that's okay because, like my son said, I'm a loner. Okay, and I I I just had so much fun. You have no idea. People say you can have fun alone, so maintain your morality. Well, I seem to be able to. And I was standing, listening, and watching the speakers, and I thought I'd like to get over so I could see them a little better. So I started to nudge off to the right, and uh, and the woman uh, started walking towards me, and I looked at her. I'm very careful how I look at women, and I'm not stupid, nor am I blind. So I notice all the appropriate things, and one of the appropriate things that I always look for is a ring on the index finger. And if there's a ring on the index finger, children, this old cowboy's not paying any more attention, eh? And and this lady, she's just a sweet woman who I met from work, and and so we are friends. And I listen to her. Uh, sh- she's my boss. Trust me. I listen to that woman, and she didn't say much. I didn't say much. We walked toward each other. She is holding her Alberta independence flag, and I just looked at her, and I just reached out and gave her a hug. She gave me a hug. It's good to see you. I said, God bless you. And I can say that at work. I can say, God bless you to anyone at work because they know that that is how I live. If uh, if anyone who doesn't know me were to ask someone about me, they would say, that's Cowboy Jim. He loves the Lord enough, so he lives it. That's my prayer. Anyways, we bade each other adieu, and I worked my way around to the front. And wouldn't you just know it, where my last wife left off? Well, didn't my bladder take over? I there was a man standing there, and we were just starting to listen to all the speakers. And I said, "Brother," he said, "Yes." I mean, hey, apparently there were over 20,000 of us in front of the legislature. I'm not good with numbers, and if I were to have guessed, I would have thought a bit lower. But I'm telling you, there were a lot of people, and it took quite a bit of effort to work my way through the crowd after that wonderful gentleman told me where, and he looked it up on his phone. Oh, dear God, I have to learn how to run my phone. And he said, the washrooms. I said, just point, son. And so he pointed right across the very front of the legislature steps. And I worked my way over there, and was a lady sitting in a wheelchair when I almost got there, and she was smoking, and everybody else was smoking around her. And I thought, oh, quite possibly I don't have to go quite as bad as I need to. So, of course, I joined them, and I told that lady, and she listened, my son's miracle, the story of my son's miracle. Okay. And that took 5 minutes, and uh, then I headed for the outhouses. They were a whole lot better than the ones that I used as a kid. I'll guarantee you that. These ones even had some liquid wherewith you can wash your hands, and all that stuff. So, anyways, took care of the bodily function, and then come out and looking around, and I thought I just can't work my way to the front of that group again. I mean, you're working your way through 20,000 people, and you're trying diligently not to offend anyone. Okay, don't bump into anyone. Hey, we're not liberals out here. No elbows up, like that pussy in Ontario. He wouldn't have known how to put his elbow up if yeah, he wouldn't. So I followed through, and anytime I saw anyone looking at me that uh, might have given me the opportunity to tell them my son's miracle, I did. I I'm shy. You have no idea how shy I am. Um, I don't know if the word is introverted or not. I go back to my eldest son, and he said, "Dad, you've been alone all your life," and I thought I like that, but I don't really like that. And but anyways, I met. Um, I would I would say a lot of people. I'm not doing the number crap because when I was quite young, I exaggerated all the time. I gave that up for Lent about 40 years ago, and some people never notice, but I quit that. Okay, I don't exaggerate because I realize exaggeration is but merely a lie. I don't need to lie to myself, be happy with myself. I just need to be at peace with God. So, anyways, the day waxed on, and all that sort of stuff, and I heard some of the speakers, and it was horrifying for me because I was with the Freedom Convoy at the Coots, Montana border, sleeping in the back of my old Dodge. We had to stand around barrels in the morning that were on fire and get warm because she was not warm in the truck, and winter sleeping bag or no. And it concerned me greatly, um, the extraordinary optimism that Albertans have that we very possibly will be able to exit stage left from uh, Canada. Really does. Really did. But I have three more videos to make out of this same subject, so we better get her done. I had the extraordinary privilege and honor of meeting a lot of people. Some people would say, "Did you meet anyone important?" I said, uh, "What do you mean important?" Well, people who are well known. Oh, no, I didn't. Uh, did you meet any of the speakers? No, I didn't. Did you meet any of the leaders? No, I didn't. I'll tell you who I did meet. I met some Albertans, normal, everyday, let's call them common. You know why I can call them common? Because they're the same as me. They're people eking out a living in Alberta. And I guess my best year was a year or two ago when I was running an excavator more than they have allowed me to do since. And I grossed $127,000 and I worked not hard at all. Okay. And the Canadian federal government, they rewarded me. They sent me my pension check. You see, I'm 76 now, and they sent me my check. And instead of the 1,000 or $1,100 pension, uh, they sent me a check for $300 because they, the Canadian federal government, was were penalizing me for my continued effort to work. But I'm not a wealthy man at all. If I were, I I I tried to do 3 to 5 videos every day, and I wouldn't work at all. But making videos is harder work than you might imagine. And I I realized that the Canadian federal government, they do not wish to encourage hard work, um, because what they intend to do is to penalize you for it, for having done hard work and for doing hard work. That's how they uh, make their living in Ottawa, is on the back of the working man and or woman. And that's the way she is. So I, on Saturday, had fun. And at the end, I, I, I met so many people, uh, so many. Some had cowboy hats on. If it had been a independence rally in Calgary, everyone would have had cowboy hats on. But that's the difference in a couple of hundred um, miles, shall we say, not hardly miles between Calgary and Edmonton. But um, I did see some of my heroes, John Bolton and his Blue Cup. I, uh, he showed a video of him making coffee, his coffee, at 2 in the morning, and I looked askance, and I was watching the video. It was his video, and he showed himself making a cup of instant coffee. Okay. That's like a gourmet cook going out and buying a burger at McDonald's when they're not sure whether it's real meat or it was developed growing on a petri dish. Okay. Anyways, I met some. I didn't meet them. I watched them because only place where I ever sat at the front was in church. I've been to church a lot, children, nigh unto 50 years, and perhaps 40, but I've been to church a lot, and I always got up near the front so that I could watch and see God touching the heart of the preacher, bringing that sermon to life. I'd sit there. I was careful what color of shirt I wore too, because I'd sit there by myself at the front where no one could see, and I could turn my head a little tiny bit. No one would see the tears streaming down my cheeks because that's what God did with me. That's how God cleansed me. That's how God healed me. My shirt, color of shirt, important because I couldn't have anything that you could see the huge buildup of moisture from my tears on the front of my shirt. So on the way back, I have some stories. Hope you bear with me about the trip back. And um, the last time we spoke was after um, these people herded me back to where my truck was parked. And I mean, clear view parking area. Guy on the train called it clear view. Well, it wasn't clear to me that it was clear view, but it could have been. And we stopped at a gas station, thanks be to the God of heaven, because I sure needed to use the facilities. And we met for coffee again at Gibbons, and this time we uh, we had to enter the Tim Hortons, and I was standing at the counter, and a young man, he had a pretty good handle on the English language. He didn't understand what I was ordering, except I said, "You see that donut down there? That like thing, that sourdough thing, eh? No name on it because everybody knows the donuts." And I said the one that says sugar all over it, okay, like glaze. He finally got that, and they gave him double cream. I don't need more sugar after you eat a donut like that. And I paid him, and I I looked, and I hadn't seen this for some time, some time. My friends who I just met on the trip down to the legislature grounds steps, uh, they were behind me, and I saw this nigh unto phenomena, and I turned. I'd finished paying and everything. I got my donut, and I don't need much. I turned. I said, "That was a white person." They said, "What?" I said, "No kidding. I saw a white-skinned person walk behind the blessed counter." That's how I said it too. And my these people don't know didn't know me from Adam, and they just smiled at me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cowboys on a roll, and I was on a roll all day. After we got done, whatever. I told them, and we were headed north, and I said, "Listen, um, you notice that I'm not behind you. Don't you dare stop, eh? Just keep going." I said, "God, my God, always takes care of this old cowboy." This is a short video. God says it's enough. We're gonna do two more of these. They'll be short. I thought that last video I done was short. Dear Lord, I think it was 39 minutes. I'm sorry about the God. God. He says, "Are you really sorry?" I said, "No, I'm not." He says, "Don't say what you don't mean." So God corrects me, and there's a reason for that. He loves me. Okay, He loves me. God bless you. Y'all take care. Still don't know the title, but we'll get her. Thank you. God bless. Y'all take care.